used to. So like, I guess if I think about it and it's there, and I will, but I don't go out of my way to make sure that I have some. I used to like freak out if I didn't have any.
I know people like that.
And, you know, so I don't think that it's true when they say that there's no addiction to it.
I think what people, I
think it's it's the fear of the lack and the mental.
Yeah, it's a mindset that goes away to it. So
I created habits.
Yes.
My daily habits involved doing those things while smoking before and after. Yeah. And so I don't think like substance wise, like chemically, that I was necessarily like addicted to where like I would have gone into detox and freaked out had I not smoked. But
no, I don't.
Mentally, I was very much addicted to it. You know?
And that's what I've always put it down to. Like even when I was a kid, everyone's like, you can't get addicted to weed. And I was like, you can get addicted to being lazy though.
You can get addicted to anything.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, like you can be addicted to smoking and chilling out too much. Mm-hmm. Like you're not necessarily addicted to weed, but you're addicted to chilling the fuck out too much and not doing anything.
Right.
So that's the way that I always saw it. And I didn't think that people necessarily, everybody who smoked was lazy, but it fucking makes lazy people lazy.
Right. Well, I think for me, part of it is that there's not necessarily a negative physical aspect to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely make yourself sick from it, but I was never indulging to the point of that. But everything else, you can tell when you've had too much, right? Like, I've definitely drank too much, done too much of whatever else, and you know, based on the way that you feel while doing it or the next day, you know, how negative it is for you. So I've never really had an issue with not drinking, but I do find myself from time to time feeling like, oh, it'd be nice to have a drink, or I'm going to go get some beers, and I've thought about it more recently, I think just because I'm under a lot of stress, and some of that's just myself stressing, and not following my own kind of script for what to do when I'm stressing out.
Yeah.
So like this last weekend I thought about it, and then I'm like, well, I'll get some beers and feel good doing what I'm doing that day, but then I'm probably going to feel crappy the next day.
It's always the next day.
And like, I don't want to feel crappy any day. So, for me, it's like, it's not worth it. I'd rather like get through the day and deal with the stress than try to make it easier for myself.
Yeah.
To then make it harder the following day.
Well, I think so. Obviously, like we're back from me being sick and not getting episodes out, and like
I was sick before that.
We had between the whole team, like we had a rough 3 weeks of everybody being sick.
Yeah.
Like real sick too. And I think after you're sick for an entire week, and I mean like in bed, can't fucking move, sick, every single day afterwards is like I gotta catch up, and so I can't fuck around. So I tend to drink, like I don't drink by myself ever, almost ever. When I do, like when I choose to go out and like choose to have drinks or whatever, it's always socially, and a lot of the times it's after, I'm getting back into the point where I am doing more construction jobs and I'm having to like be on site and stuff, and so it's like after a fucking 12-hour day, I'm like, I'm gonna go and have some beers with the guys or whatever, and like that's where it gets me. But I have no, like, I'm back to the stage where I'm like, I don't even want that. Like, I need to catch up from the days. I need to be dialed in as much as possible. It's already hard enough in the morning still, like keeping that residual sickness in the mornings that you get rid of throughout the day.
It's hard to show up and grind every day, regardless of any outside effect.
So I think,
or outside factor,
just the amount of shit that I feel after drinking. On top of it, I've decided to push. How do I put this? Okay, so as I was sick and I was getting like I was in and out of being sick, the times where I was feeling a little bit better, I noticed like. This is all new for me too, but like I noticed that I've had my headaches still never go away, and my light sensitivity never goes away, and like the ringing in my ears like never goes away. All this shit that's kind of like been prevalent for a long time. And I think I talked to you about this like whole, like we were losing memories, or like I was like, I can't, there's a section that I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I think that I got some fucking major head trauma when I was young, when I smashed my head doing the 4-wheeler thing. Like I was sitting there in bed and I'm like, wait a minute. Like I never got my head checked out, because when everybody came to me, I'm a kid, like I'm 16 years old. So they're freaking out too.
Right.
Even EMS. And they're like, did you go unconscious? Did you? And I was just snapped and I was like, no. And I did. I definitely did. I definitely remember it now. And
yeah, I mean, I've been in accidents where I've been knocked out and not realized it.
Yeah. And and that happened to me. And then I had 2 car accidents right after that. And then I had, countless things. And I'm starting to think that I've gotten my bell rung a little bit too much. And then I started comparing, the symptoms of bipolar disorder and the symptoms of TBI, and how easily they line up, and how like that potentially could be a cause for bipolar disorder too. The reason that I'm gonna end up going in and getting my head checked out, I'm gonna end up going in, like I'm going to really strive to start taking care of my health and try to figure out what's wrong, because it doesn't matter what sleep I get, it doesn't matter what I eat, it doesn't matter at all. Like my headaches are still there, the ringing in my ears is always still there, and I'm kind of like, and I have been for a long time. You know how psychedelics and things have been way more prevalent now, as they're getting legalized to use for help with PTSD and just getting over traumatic episodes and other shit that have happened in your life, and kind of has a way of helping TBI and all of this stuff.
Those things can also trigger psychosis.
Yeah. So this is like, this is what I've been talking to my therapist and psychiatrist, is like, I'm on a list of like, I'm going to figure all of this shit out first.
Yeah.
Before, because that's always been my scare. My scare when my buddies are like, oh, hey, let's take some mushrooms. I'm like, I can't. Like, I cannot go into psychosis.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to do your research.
Yeah.
Because you also work around a lot of equipment, and the ringing in your ears could be tinnitus.
Yeah, very well.
Every time
whenever
I'm on the bike for a few hours, I have ringing in my ears just from the wind.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not, that's my thing too, is it's like
power tools can do it.
100%.
Music can do it. All sorts of things can affect.
Yeah, well, listening to your music too loud and all this shit. Like, I definitely know. That's what I'm saying is I have friends who are like, fuck it, let's go do it right now. I'm like, no, like I have a lot of work to get there. The other thing is, when I first got diagnosed with bipolar, first of all, like having bipolar disorder in the last like 10 years, frankly, is almost a fad. Like if you talk to therapists, if you talk, like it's something that all of a sudden people just started getting diagnosed with.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's
there's
not
a lot
something,
of that.
Yeah, it's not something that can necessarily be proven other than direct action
you exhibit symptoms that line up with this, but it doesn't mean they can't line up with other things.
Exactly.
Right.
So like, and that's what I was saying is like, Cass said, like they had to put you in a box. And I was like, yeah, they had to in order to be able to treat.
I mean, it's just like anxiety, right? Yeah. Like anxiety is widely overused.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I shouldn't say overused or overdiagnosed. It exists, right? But there's a ton of anxiety that's really just, it's normal and it's okay.
Right.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't attempt to do life or take on those challenges or those things that stress you out or create anxiety. The whole point of growing and being better is to work through those things.
100%.
Right? And so I think there's definitely an overuse of different buzzwords, and I think, I don't want to get way off topic or whatever, but I think that there's a lot to be said for the medical system and how much work people really do put into learning their specialties.
Yeah.
And I think technology makes it much easier to be certified anything without actually having to fully understand it. I think there are people that do a great job and really truly do try to understand things at a deep level. And then I think there's other people that don't necessarily go as deep as they could or should and rely on the system to point them in the right direction. And so that's why second opinions and
always
your own research come into play and are such big factors with getting to the bottom of it. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to figure that out, right? You're expressing yourself to this person that's a professional, but if they haven't come into contact with an understanding of what it is you're describing, then they're only going from their perspective.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is like from the example of me, like when I first went in, what was I doing? I was getting over substances. I was still on them. I was still addicted to things that I shouldn't have been, but I wanted the help.
Yeah.
And so what do I hear? Like I'm sitting there and I talked to the psychiatrist and he's like, well, it could be these number of things. And then what do? I go and find myself in these boxes.
Right.
And then do I say like directly what my symptoms are, or do I say exactly how I'm actually feeling?
Right.
And so if I'm so focused on getting like just even the bare minimum of help because I want out of how I'm feeling, I'm not even actually capable of there was no quiet. There was nothing for me to be like there wasn't a time in my life at that period where I could actually hear silence. And so now that I've done a shitload of work the last 6 years in talk therapy, taking medications, like figuring things out routine wise, like trying to navigate life in a more positive way, I have some silence. And then that's where I'm like, oh shit, these symptoms have been here for a long time. And like, it's not even necessarily something that I even want to say out loud because I talked to Cass about it too. But like, there's times where I don't remember people's names who are very close to me. Like there's times but again, it could also just be the stress of like life and allowing yourself to get overwhelmed. And so that's why I'm like, I've, back when maps was a thing, when they were first, not when they were first, but like when it was becoming prevalent in the US that they were able to actually like in studies be able to start giving MDMA and stuff to PTSD patients and all of this. I mean, that was 20 years ago now that I remember first hearing about it.
I mean, I think I think it's important to find the avenues that work best for people.
Yeah.
I think that at the root of all that, like my thought is that in theory, we all should be able to naturally be at a state of peace.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's necessarily enough. When somebody goes into the doctor with an issue, they're relying on different systems to help people out. And I think where it should all start for everyone is physical nutrition.
Yep.
Like what you're eating and how that affects your body. Physically exercising the body, because that creates a lot of those chemicals that we need to feel good. And, so I think there's a lot of people that are also unwilling to follow that type of protocol.
100%.
And so that's where it's like, yeah, these things might be helpful, especially if you can't even get to a point where you can do those things on your own. But I mean,
the root, like that grounded, like that root structure of what you're saying, that needs to be addressed first.
Yeah.
But when you go into a doctor and they're like, oh yeah, we have a pill for that. Oh yeah, we have a pill for that. And on top of it, as we know, like that pill is adding more money to them. It's adding more money to the hospital they work for. Like that system never breaks because of the person. It's the same thing. Like, I'm not necessarily a fan of the one-time diet pill for people. Like I'm not for it. I wouldn't take it. And it's only because I believe that it doesn't allow you to actually learn to correct your mistakes. The moment that you're off of something like that, you're going to go right back. And I only know that from experience because I have like an eating disorder that I've labeled for myself, but like I have an addiction to shitty food. Why? Because it's designed for us to get addicted to it.
Yeah.
And like to a point where natural food tastes like shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only thank Cass for this, but like it's hard for me to even eat normal shit that isn't organic now because I can taste the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Things taste like plastic. Like we were just talking about the apples that you were talking about, like having the wax on them.
Feeling the wax
crazy,
on them.
dude.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And it's not something that I ever thought like I would be so like I'm not even ingrained into it. There's so many people who are way more into it than I am, and I'm not there yet, but I definitely know that there's like not just from being sick, but from not feeling great and from having just health issues the last 3 years of all of this. It's like I definitely want to focus more on that. Now my root system needs work, obviously. Like that's where I'm going to first, because the way that I'm feeling could simply be something in my gut that I'm not taking care of.
Absolutely.
You know? And we've talked about this kind of stuff, or the fact that you're not out working out at least once a day or once every 2 days or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, in there's different ways to look at it and different things that you can do mentally to kind of test yourself to see where you're at. But like my thought is if you feel like getting a fat check that would make it to where you didn't have to go to work, do any kind of work, and you got to just live daily life the way that you want. If you could do that and be happy and healthy, then it's probably not something that a pill's really going to fix or any substance is going to fix. It probably is a lifestyle thing, and it takes time and hard work and dedication and discipline, and it's super uncomfortable and challenging and sucks, but it's achievable. You know, it's achievable naturally. And, you know, I mean, we talk about all sorts of different stuff in here. And I think when you are lacking some of the basic things like your health and the ability to just get up and feel well, it makes that focus that much larger about how important it is to be healthy. So I'm not surprised that coming off of being sick, you know, you're like, I really want to make sure that I'm good and I'm healthy. And, you know, you're aware to all of the ways in which you use your body and your mind when you're not able to. And it's like, I don't want to lose that. I don't
want to lose another day kind of deal.
The Bad Project is about finding those small distractions that keep you moving when life tries to pin you down. That's what our gear stands for. They're reminders you can wear, carry, and share to push through those hard days. Every shirt, every hat, every sticker helps spread the message. When you're wearing it, you're not just buying our merch, you're backing the mission. We're building more than just a brand. As we roll out Bad activity events, your support helps make them possible. With new drops, holiday specials, and surprises always around the corner, we really are just getting started. If you want to go even deeper, hit our new Patreon for Bad Thoughts episodes, bonus content, behind the scenes, and a closer seat in this community we're building. We're even doing giveaways. So check out the gear at thebadproject.com, hit our Patreon, and follow us on all the socials to stay locked in. This movement's only growing, and you're going to be a part of it. Thanks for everything you guys are doing. Love you all.
Cass & Co. Upscale Thrift is redefining resale. Think timeless fashion, luxury brands, and curated pieces, all at prices that let you stay stylish without the splurge. Whether you're hunting for vintage classics or this season's designer staples, we'll make high-end accessible. Dress like you own the runway for a fraction of the price.
Every crew's got that one guy who shows up late, drinks gas station mud, and wonders why he feels like trash by lunch. Don't be that guy. Construction Coffee Co. isn't cheap sludge. It's small batch coffee roasted to keep you moving when everyone else is crying about their backs. Smooth enough to sit black, strong enough to keep you upright when your foreman's breathing down your neck. Fuck that guy. And yeah, they've got gear too. Shirts, hats, workwear built tough enough for the job site, not that pajama junk your apprentice wears. This stuff actually holds up when you're crawling through mud or hanging steel. They're there for you to roast beans and roast you. Just like you do with your buddies on the job. Because that's the culture. Talk trash, laugh hard, and get it done. Construction Coffee Co. Clock in, drink up, shut up. Go to constructioncoffeeco.com to get yours.
Here too, like it's hard for me to come in and be creative, or like I've just had so much brain fog, and a lot of it comes from stress. A lot of it comes from stress that I placed around myself and like, you know, where I'm at. And I know all of that. And so it's just like I'm ready to start getting things checked out. And I think that would help people, you know,
I mean,
go in, and if they have the insurances to go in and get, you know, see if you have a vitamin deficiency.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have insurance.
If your testosterone is good. Or
I have insurance,
is,
and I can't even tell you the last time that I went to the doctor outside of like having an issue that I needed to go
also,
get something
but
taken
like
care
what's
of.
your, you know, that's a problem. You know, we get into that, but then all of a sudden people are like, I don't have $1,000 for my fucking copay.
Right.
You know,
I could go to the doctor.
It's almost easier for me not having insurance
with my insurance, and it's not bad insurance. I could literally go for myself and my kids, use up like all the visits that we could do, and I don't even think I'd get to my deductible by the end of the year.
Right.
You know, I mean, we're generally healthy, which is great, but it would take actual work and dedication to get making enough appointments to get to where my deductible is paid off. And that's an issue for a whole nother episode.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
But,
it's
one thing, you know, like we'll talk in here, and it's like a therapy session, you know, and we do that because we want to show people that we're going through it too. This is what's going on in our lives. Yeah. And sometimes it's a similar theme, the things that we've discussed before. And I've been thinking a lot about that over the last couple of weeks, and how, you know, I feel a lot of frustration internally, and because like I know so many of these systems that are beneficial, and we talk about bettering ourselves regularly. You know, I read enough on it. I know the exercises to do that would help. I like all of that. And a big part of it, I think, is real, true accountability, and figuring out how to be fully accountable to yourself and honest with yourself about where you're at. And it doesn't feel good. When I do that, I end up, I think, becoming very critical of myself and frustrated with myself because I'm not doing what I want to do. Even in those moments, right? Like I'm not doing some of the basic things to take care of myself like I know I could and should, that would help. And then I get more frustrated, and it creates more anxiety and stress, because then I'm worried about the fact that I'm not, and it amplifies and snowballs and all that. And, you know, over the last couple of days, it feels like there are elements where that follow through is really difficult. You know, I see the goals and I see the path, right? But then following through on that is difficult. And I think within the last couple of days, I just kind of had a conversation with myself where it's like, okay, well, you know, you're lumping this stuff on and feeling the stress of and the frustration of not following through on certain things. And at the end of the day, like, there's so many resources that could help everybody feel better, you know, and all of us know so many of them. And you don't have to know so many. You could just know one or two things. Like exercise is going to make you feel good. Eating better is going to make you feel good. And it's, at the end of the day, just a choice, and comes down to that choice and actually following through with it. And that's something that you and I can't do for people. You know,
no, 100%.
I have a hard time doing it for myself. So it's, you know, it's like I feel like a hypocrite, you know, at times where I want to help people feel better and make it through challenging times and hard times. And I'm struggling with myself on a lesser version of that. I've been in a much worse place mentally. And so it's like, because I'm not there, is it like I need to take myself to the limit of like destructive thoughts in order to make myself do something, or get to the point of actually having something serious wrong with me health wise, to force me or motivate me?
Yeah.
Because that's, if I'm really getting honest, you know, that's what's motivated me, when there's a real health issue, now I'm forced to do it.
Yeah.
Or coming off the backside of a health issue, now I have the awareness to the things that I could do better. So then I'm going to challenge myself, and I kind of get sick of this mental
ping
pong or the cyclical behavior. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people, I think that if people are still listening to us consistently, they probably do relate to this cycle of seeing the answers and knowing how to go after them, and then watching themselves not fully show up for it until they get to back to the point where they're feeling down again or feeling a certain kind of way about it again. And it's just a cycle. And that's where I've been at. And I'm feeling super frustrated about it. And I think that there's a level of honesty that I am not showing up with for myself, which means it's probably like that for the rest of the world. Like I'm emanating some of that to the rest of the world. So if my vibration is not truly where it should be, then that could be part of the problem for me, is I'm getting back what I'm putting out, which is like almost there, like 90%, and, so I'm challenging myself to follow through more. And if I have a thought that is, I know I should do this, I'm forcing myself to do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know another way.
Well, the lag time in between is like, that's always been a major problem for me, right? Like if I go, I need to do this, if I give myself any seconds in between, I'll talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Or I'll talk about, here's the other point that I want to make, or that as you're, that I wanted to make as you were explaining that. Like, for one, I too have thought, I've been at the darkest places in my life, and I'm like almost envious that I can't be there anymore, because it was easier to take care of myself then, because I didn't have a fucking option.
Right.
Right. Like that's just it.
Yeah.
Like,
The situation forces
to do it,
you to think
or you
about
die.
It. Right.
Like you're either going to take your own life, you're going to get yourself into a car wreck, you're going to do all this other shit, or you're going to take care of yourself right fucking now. Mm-hmm. Or you're hurting everybody around you, or you're going to take care of yourself right fucking now.
Yeah.
And so like, that's something that I think of constantly. And it's hard because you're not there.
Right.
It's hard because we have complacency. We have this like laziness in us.
We have the laziness. We also have talked about it before, where there's enough responsibility out there to make that excuse too. Mm-hmm. Like I have to take care of this, that, and the other. So
yeah,
like I'm going to neglect myself because I have so much else.
Because I'm taking care of my kids, because I'm taking care of my family, because because I have work duties. Like ultimately it doesn't matter if all of that went away and you were the only person in the world right now, you'd have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's something, I mean, that's just a game that we play with ourselves. So the other thing is this game of like, I need to do this. And then you allow that time frame in between. You don't even mean to sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're laying in bed, you're like, I need to get up. And then you like go to doze back off and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get up. It's not 4 minutes before I actually have to get up. So I'm not going to get up.
Right.
I'm not going to go and do a workout. I'm not going to go for a walk. I'm not going to write in my journal. I'm not going to read.
Well, yeah, for myself, I will think about how I want to work out. Yeah. And then I will sit there in indecision for the time that it would have taken for the workout to just get done and be done with. And then I'm like, oh, now it's too late.
Yep. And that's exactly what it is. So it's like, there's two things for me. The first is like, I have to act right away, because I like any bit of distraction for me and I'm fucked. And that's just, and I don't know if that's just me personally. I'm assuming it's for a lot of people, but if I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk this morning first, or let's say last night, I'm like, no matter what, I'm getting the fuck up and I'm going outside and I'm going to go for a run tomorrow. So I wake up. What do? I was like, oh, well, I got to go to the bathroom. And then all of a sudden,
probably make some coffee.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably do this. Oh, I should probably do this. Oh, now it's too late. I'm not feeling it. And that goes into my second point, is the feelings. Like, once again, I come back to this stage with myself where, as I was sick, too sick to do anything, like I probably should have went to the hospital at some point this week. And you forget about all those feelings because you don't care because you've been so sick that like the only reason I haven't gone up and gone out for a run first thing this morning in the morning is because I know after being 31 that I used to be like, I'm sick for 3 days. Fuck this. I'm going out for a run. I'm giving myself a few more days only because I don't want to get sick again.
Yeah.
And so otherwise it's like the feelings that you get, it all creates color in a situation that needs to be black and white. The situation is, do you or do you not need to take care of yourself right now? Do you or do you not need to go for a run? Do you or do you not need to have the right diet?
Right.
And if you, as we aren't in that place of darkness or aren't in that place of like overcoming a shitty spot of health, we create color and we add more of the complacency and we add more of the excuses. We add more of the responsibilities. And then we create a colorful place that we have to make a decision in. And you can't do it. Like if you're so addicted to candy bars and I put a candy bar and running shoes next to you, you're going to pick the fucking candy bar.
Yeah.
But at some point, you know, and as you were saying, it's like, you know, we can tiptoe around it, but it is just the fucking doing it.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have any other option. That's the hardest part that even us, we have to hear. It's like, you don't get a fucking excuse. You just have to fucking do it.
Yeah,
just do something.
Yesterday I did do something that I would not normally do. Right. So I guess to give insight into how I go about this issue when I see it come up within myself is eventually something will present itself to me over and over.
Yeah.
Right. And I will end up trying to learn about that thing in the hopes to overcome it. So that's why I've read as much as I do, right? Like I'm trying to fix something in my life or within myself. So I want to read about it, which usually opens up other doors, whether it's other books or aspects of my personality to look at. That's just how that will snowball in a positive way if I'm, you know, trying to be proactive about it. But, you know, so an area for myself that's frustrating and stressful, finances, right? And I have done a lot of different things, a lot of different ways in order to change that situation. I've worked 2 jobs. I've worked 3 jobs. I've worked at building a business. I've done different aspects of what I feel like would solve it, which is to make more money, right? But one area I haven't really looked at, you know, I guess initially it's like tax time, right? Yep. And I'm looking and I'm like, man, I really wish that I knew the system better in order to utilize it in the way that people pay. You know, when somebody that has a lot of money is going to sit down and do their taxes, they're not sitting down to do their taxes. They're going to pay somebody who's an expert in that field to do their taxes for them and utilize whatever credits and anything like that they can in order to get their taxes down, you know? And I started thinking about, well, why haven't I just started learning about the tax codes and, you know, figuring out how to do that for myself? You know, that's an area that would improve. You know, if I learn how to do it, then I have that knowledge. I don't need to pay somebody to do it for me. And then I understand those benefits better for myself. And so rather than starting to teach myself, you know, anything about taxes, I just started reading about our financial system. You know, there's a lot to investing and the stock market, crypto, saving, mutual funds, all these different aspects that make up the financial system that we utilize, you know. And so I found myself just reading about the financial system.
Yeah. How do you stay awake?
It's tough. It's tough to do, but
yeah,
you know, for myself, it's kind of like
I'm asking you if there's a trick because I also like, it's something that, you know, you want to dial in those certain aspects in your life. And like when it comes to finances, I'm like,
we're not good at it because we don't train ourselves to be, you know, once upon a time, you only got the information that you needed by reading a dictionary or an encyclopedia, going to the library, researching a subject, getting a book and researching it. Now we have information at our fingertips and don't utilize it the way that we could. It takes training, and I might have to listen to something 5 times in a row to get it to stick. I might have to write that thing down to get it to stick, or move on and then come back to it later. But it's a discipline thing. It's like, how bad do you want it? For myself, I want change in that area of my life. I have to have change in that area of life. So if, I can come up with a million reasons not to try and educate myself on it, and that's totally fine. Nobody's going to fault me for it. If I keep showing up to my responsibilities, nobody's going to get mad that I'm not, an accountant or a financial whiz, right? But I'm the only person that I can get mad at the end of the day and at the end of my life if I haven't tried to grow that aspect of myself and then teach it to my children,
But that also
and that's okay.
Yeah, like that also comes down to the same thing that you were just saying too. It's like you're now at the point when it comes to the finance that you don't have an option.
Yeah, I'm so sick of it.
Well, you're at the age you're there. You're like, sick of the stress. To fucking do something about it.
Yeah, man. I'm almost 40 years old. I'm like looking at it and I'm like, dude. Wow. I know. I feel old. Kidding. But when I'm thinking about it, it's like, well, if I'm halfway through my life, hopefully it's longer than that. But being able to be healthy and capable, I could be halfway done or more, right? So if I'm running out of time, when am I actually going to take the time to learn it? Yeah. Like when I'm retired and it no longer applies, because that, like the last 20 years have flown by, So it's like, it's a thing that I would rather put in the work now and face the challenges now and the hardship for it now than regret later.
I was just talking to somebody about this, and it's a struggle for me to bounce back and forth between doing something that I absolutely would love to do, which is help people, and also be able to pay my bills the way that I know how to pay my bills, which is doing a job that frankly I don't love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when we have something like this and you don't know where to put your energy and you're not an expert, and I didn't grow up in the city, and I don't have a bunch of people who also have worked on websites and also have worked in marketing and stuff. Like my friends, they're all in the fucking trades. Like every single person I'm not every single person. A lot of the friends that I have are all blue collar workers. When it comes to like sitting down and having a podcast and doing not a lot of them have done it. And so it's like, we're sitting there talking about, getting a different job and starting a different career and doing all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, man, you can do that. But also remember that you're doing that right now and you fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're working for somebody else and you hate how much you're getting paid. You hate the fact that you have to show up every day, and you hate the fact that you're not growing, and I don't know. I mean, it's like when I think it's like when they say that leap of faith, it's almost best to push yourself into it.
Yeah. And I mean, you can have different motivators for
100%.
that, right? Like you could just be so enthusiastic about your goals that you want to just pursue them.
Yeah.
Right. And that can be enough. And then there's the opposite, which is you're so miserable or unsatisfied in the situation you're in that you force yourself to grow.
Yeah.
And, I am definitely one that has done a mix, but a lot of my growth has come on the back end of uncomfortability and frustration, where I feel like I have to. And there are other aspects that, like I see the goal and I see the motivation, and, so I'll try and pursue that. But I definitely am trying to shift my thinking into pursuing those things that I know are going to be good for me versus being forced to.
Yeah.
Right. And so like a big part for me right now is, and it even goes back to the book that we read, 12 Pillars, right? There's 12 lessons in there that are all beneficial for everybody. For me, the common theme for all of them is in life, you have all these different plates that you're spinning, all these different areas of life, and whether or not you choose to admit it or not, you could be better in all of those areas. That's what it comes down to. If you really wanted to, you would.
Yeah.
And it can feel more comfortable, and you can be better at all of the different areas of life if you're willing to put in the effort.
Yeah.
And I have the benefit of having kids that I want to be a good example for. So I, by default, have a motivator where I can say, I refuse to let my kids look at this area of my life and feel like their dad wasn't trying to be better in that area, you know? So at the end of the day, I can always think about that. And it's like, you know, I look at areas that I know I could be better in or that provide discomfort for me or stress me out. And I'm like, you know, I'm trying to look at things differently where it's like, I tell myself a lot, you must enjoy it if you're not changing it, right? Like if I'm dissatisfied with an area of life and I'm not doing something about it, then I must like it.
Yeah.
You know, I like it enough. I like that discomfort enough not to make a change, you know, and a lot of people would, you know, if you say that to somebody that's expressing frustration, if you're venting to me about an area of your life, one of the reasons that we've helped each other grow is because when we vent to each other or complain, we both will hear it for a little bit and offer our sympathies. And then what comes right behind that is, well, you must enjoy it because you're not changing it.
You're like,
right?
hey,
like
I can't get up and I can't work out. And I'm just like kind of sitting on the couch, and it's like, that sucks, dude. I'm really sorry. But also you might like being lazy.
Yeah. And if you're
you shouldn't like being lazy.
If you're like, I'm unhappy with the way that I look or the way that I feel. Okay. Well, you must enjoy that.
Yeah.
More than the, more than the discomfort of getting up and working out. And we know that we know that it's true because we know how good it feels to just move around.
Yeah.
Going for your walk this morning felt good.
Yeah.
Even though you really didn't want to go out in the cold.
Yeah.
Who does right now? Right. But it still felt good when you got home. You
Right.
felt like you showed up for yourself.
Yeah, so and it's the smallest thing.
And that's an act of self-love.
And I'm not even the one who got me out. It was Cass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go for a walk. And I was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to go too.
Yeah.
I do want to say something too. Like, back to the point of your boys. Like, I'm proud of you because a lot of people will do the opposite. Where you go, I want my boys to know that I'm capable of working harder at this point in my life, at this, plate in my life. Some people will go, well, I have kids, and so like I'm just going to focus on that. Like I'm just going to focus on I'm not going to focus on myself. I'm going to focus on them. Where I think, and I don't have kids, and I say this a lot, but I wholeheartedly believe, and this is the only reason I say this, is because I watched my own parents.
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly believe that if you have a kid, working on yourself is helping them just as much as it is helping you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a selfish thing to do. It's if anything, it's helping them more because you're able to show up and you're able to be happier because you're working on yourself. And they're also learning that it's good to take the time to work on themselves, and it's good to grow, and it's good to become a better person.
Yeah. And I mean, I am probably more critical of myself than anyone else. Right. So there's probably areas where if I was gone tomorrow that I'm frustrated or stressed about that nobody else would even know.
Bad enough.
And my kids would probably not even think about that. Yeah. Right. But I don't feel good about, a lot of the things that I've done and who I am as a person. Although I don't dislike who I am, I also feel like I've not been the best person multiple times in my life. I've made bad decisions, not just mistakes, bad choices that have led to negative outcomes. And I refuse to let that be a legacy, whether it's for my kids or just who I am as a person. And maybe I will be. I might end up, at the funeral, there might be a lot of people there with negative things to say, and I can't fix everything, and that's just how it is. Case, but if I refuse to at least not make an attempt at making those things better and doing life differently, and there's a whole bunch of motivating factors in that. But, it all just, for me, it comes back to if I'm uncomfortable or don't like an area of my life, then I should do something about it. And if I'm not doing something about it, then I must enjoy it. I must enjoy feeling like crap or using something as an excuse if I'm not willing to actually make it different.
I don't know necessarily if it's like that you enjoy it. I think, again, we'll come back to,
that's kind of me talking crap to myself.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's more or less like a self-worth thing. Like I'm like, that's just, I'm okay with that being this section where I don't need to do anything about it. And obviously, as you know, like that's not, but do you think like that talk to yourself of being like, well, I must enjoy it is like, do you think it's going to push you? Or do you think it's just saying it because it's like, I'm trying to be mean to myself, because that also works as a motivator because it does work for me.
Probably a little bit of both.
But it doesn't work all the time for me anymore. If I'm mean to myself, now it just fucking gets me down.
Yeah. And that's, I think, some of it too. I definitely, I don't utilize my self-talk as a motivator all the time. When I was working, when I was doing more explicit cognitive behavioral therapy, it was very much centered around self-talk, and there's different aspects of that and elements of that. There's the critical voice that you feel in your head and where that comes from, because a lot of the times it's not even your voice, right? It might be in the tone of your voice, but it's somebody else's words. It could be a critical parent or teacher or coach or friend. Like, it might be someone else's voice in your head that is criticizing you. And so some of that is environmental growing up, and that's a big starting point, is to look at where is this voice coming from. And some people do take it easy on themselves, and they say, oh, it was my mom or my dad or this person or that person. It's the way that they talk to me. And yeah, like, not everybody's perfect. Some people are crappy people.
Yeah.
And I was blessed with a mom that cared very much for me and loves me very deeply. However, she could be very critical without trying to be, right? And the way that I perceived that and internalized that was probably more negative than she ever intended it to be, but that's, as you dive into your self-talk and you unpack that and explore that more, you start to figure that out. And areas where you can be sympathetic to the person, because we're all just winging this, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Nobody's an expert at life. We're all winging it. I know there's stuff that I've said to my kids that they have internalized more negatively than I have meant for it to come across.
Yeah.
I might be trying to help improve something for them, and they might take it as I'm saying, being critical, saying something critical of them. So I try to be aware of what I'm saying to them and also to myself. And so sometimes I think I am saying something negative to try to motivate myself to get honest and make a decision to move forward in a positive way. And other times I think it's just me being frustrated with myself and taking it out on myself. At the end of the day, for me, it's just having enough awareness to see that, like, I am talking to myself about this stuff. And at times, the why and where that's coming from doesn't necessarily matter. The end result that's going to make me feel better is taking the action steps that I'm avoiding. So if I see that my self-talk is keeping me from taking steps, if I'm being mean to myself and that's keeping me from doing something, then that part has to change. The way that I'm talking to myself has to change and be different. If I see that I'm just avoiding it and I need to step it up, maybe I'll let it ride. Maybe I will talk a little more, smack to myself. Yeah. But either way, the goal is to achieve the thing that I'm avoiding and at least go after it. And just having movement towards those areas feels better. When I was reading about the financial stuff yesterday, I really only went through things that I already know about, just not as in depth. I didn't like go into uncharted territory for myself. I started with the basics and reading up on the basics, and it's all stuff that I'm familiar with, just not at a very high level.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a great place to start, right? Because you have to have a core foundation to build on. So do I have any new information? Some. Is it, it's not much different than what I already knew, but it still feels good to have put something forward, some effort, even if it's only 15, 20 minutes, some effort towards making the result different than what it currently is. Because if I don't do anything, I'm going to continue to get the same results.
Yeah.
I'm going to still feel the way that I feel. And
isn't that Einstein?
Something like that. You're talking about insanity?
The quote of insanity. I mean, but I think there's a bit of insanity in all of us in a daily basis of us doing things. Like you wouldn't, like if your kids were small and they kept touching the fucking stove, you would be like, you're fucking insane. Stop touching the stove.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen?
It burns you every single time. Right. But we're adults, right? And so we get to have the fucking excuse of, well, I've got life problems and I've got responsibilities and I've got this and this and this and this. And my parents were mean to me and this and this and this. That's why I keep touching the stove.
Yeah.
Like so the reason that I asked you about the negative talk is because because I was sick, I didn't have a reason to give myself negative talk. And things kind of quieted down.
Yeah, because you were just sick.
Because I'm fucking sick.
You didn't have to.
Like, I'm having convulsions to where I can't even fucking. I have to take 40 minutes to get some fucking ibuprofen.
Yeah, there wasn't anything about extra caveats to life. It was just surviving, feeling better.
So when you're out of it, you're like, the negative talks just fucking slam. They're like, you're back at it. Let's go. Like you have all of the shit you haven't done.
Get
and
up,
it's
you
like,
piece of shit, get to work.
Yeah. And so then instead, I just turned it as like a future look. I'm trying to be more in the now. I'm trying to be more in like, what do I need to take care of right now? Like what's major, what's on the priority list? Let's knock this out now. Let's set myself up for tomorrow, because when tomorrow comes, I can worry about it tomorrow. Like I can do what I can now to set myself up for tomorrow, but I'm not worried about the fucking future. What I am worried about is myself and my existence in the future and my friends and my family's existence into the future. So it's like my decisions recently, and I mean only in the past 3 days, have been like very direct. So it's like, you don't have a choice. Like this, like if you don't want to feel this way, this is the black and white decision that you need to make. And instead of being like, you're a piece of shit, you've been acting like a piece of shit, you need to do this. It's like, it only goes away if you stop it right now.
Yeah.
And like that's the same thing. Like when you're ready to learn, like it only starts if you start right now.
Yeah. The path to feeling better about anything in your life is on the other side of doing some action step towards it. You know, it's, I am trying to work on utilizing a calendar more, and I've gotten better at it over the last year or so. Using a calendar for meetings and obligations like that is something I do anyways, but breaking down my day to where, taking a look at my daily routine and how much time I feel like I don't have, and I will say, I think some insanity that we have in our lives is just the structure of things. I think the 40-hour work week and all of that is keeping people from their best selves. And I think it's designed that way. It's just enough to make people keep showing up. And I think it's designed to keep us at work, right? It's designed to keep us in that rat race. And so that itself, I think, is negative for people. However, we're here, and it is what it is.
Right. I'm trying to find I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm trying to find a job. I was going to talk to you because I'm trying to find a job that I can just go in 3 days a week and just do 12s and just be like, that's it. That's all I got. I think I'm going to go work at the range. Gun ranges.
I mean, that would be cool.
I get discount on guns too.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they're hiring for that.
Yeah, they are. Get some 30% off guns. They are. I've been asked like 3 times.
I don't have a connection for a job for you that doesn't require you showing up day in and day out.
I don't fucking want to the whole day. And I mean, I was like, fuck it, dude. I'll go deliver for FedEx for 3 days for 12 hours a day, but
probably won't hire you.
No. Well, I think FedEx would. UPS won't. UPS wants their full-time drivers or whatever.
Even if they say that they're down for that, you still have to check that box that you're available anytime.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and if you're any kind of salary, they're not going to let you get by without.
I didn't mean to interrupt
up.
what you were saying, but like I also believe that because it's difficult for me. Like I'm back, and I'm also the period of work right now. Like you have full-time gig, and like you have work no matter what right now. And
then I try to pick up work outside of
that's
that.
what I'm saying. Right now, because I subcontract work and I'm a builder and like we do all this shit, there's downtime. And right now, it doesn't matter who the fuck you call. I was just talking to Matt about this. We're in this thing of like, I hate doing this and there's no work, right? So what do you do to fix that? And it's like, well, I don't know, because now I got to go find a job that I fucking hate that I have to go work at for 40 hours.
Yeah, man. I mean, every aspect of life is going to present different options for you. I keep finding opportunities in the fields that I don't want to pursue anymore.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like, well, maybe I can pursue the thing.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I don't want to do this type of work, maybe because it keeps presenting itself to me, maybe I need to find a different avenue in that field of work,
right?
That I would enjoy and also be happy and successful in.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of me that's like, I don't even want to touch that stuff. Yeah. I'm not even going to allow it into my, sphere of existence. Like, I choose not to accept that I could be successful in that.
I also choose, like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so
it's the duality of life,
my
man.
thought basis is this: like, I've become very good at what I do. I've become decent at selling things and doing that as well. I'm not successful necessarily. If I was successful, I think my business would be doing a whole lot better. But the reason that it's not successful is because I don't fucking want it to be there. I want it to be somewhere else. And so I'm doing all the major work. But what did it take me to get to be in a minor successful place? It took years and years and years of learning the skill and years and years and years of working on myself. So now we're at this point where, like, right now in Michigan, it's fucking tough. There's a lot of shit that isn't happening right now. Not just because of taxes, just because people, like, it's been a really weird, shitty winter. And so things aren't being built, and like there will come a rush. But if you like, I just know I've called up friends and they've called up me, and like my dad, and like he always has work through some of his friends. Like, everybody says the same thing. They're like, we don't know what's going on right now. There's nothing.
I'm busy as shit right now.
I know
buddy.
you are. So, but I also don't want to go drive.
I get you all work.
I don't fucking drive to Detroit. You can get me work.
Keep you all busy.
You can get me work. I'll fucking come put in toilet paper holders.
It's kind of like it's a duality thing, right? Like sometimes the break comes through the thing that's uncomfortable. There's the good and the bad with all of it. It's nice to have an option, so don't forget about that.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of us, like, bad things happen and circumstances outside of our control do happen, right? So like, I'm not saying that we all always put ourselves where we're at. The majority of people, though, like, you're where you're at to some degree based on your decision making, and that might not be the whole aspect of the situation. Other people and things affect where you're at. It's a lot
of what it is, but yeah.
But typically, we participate in a lot of what it is that got us to where we're at. And in a lot of situations, we have begged and pleaded and prayed to get to where we're at.
100%.
There was the thing that you and I are both so sick of doing. We also begged and pleaded with the universe to be able to do. 100%. I check myself regularly at work for my attitude and the way that I'm thinking about it, because I know that I have prayed to be where I'm at right now. And in the moment, it's very easy for me to find frustrations in the daily routine or in the daily grind that make me negative and frustrated with where I'm at. And it's my doing. Like, I have wanted to get to where I'm at. And so maybe it just means that I have another level that I need to get to. And I accept that. And I'm trying to rise to that. I try to take that negativity that I feel about it and look at honestly and realistically the areas that I could improve in on what I'm already doing. Because I know I'm not the best at what I do. I try to be, and I try to do it well. But the areas that I don't feel like taking care of or dealing with, there's more to it than just not wanting to do the task, right? It's an area that maybe I could be more knowledgeable at, and I'm uncomfortable having to learn more because I don't want that to be an admission that I don't necessarily know about this thing. right? But the only way to actually know about it is to learn about it, and become an expert in it. I had a really great boss when I was younger, that told me, you're going to be responsible for all of these different areas, and some of them you might not have any idea about. But because you're the responsible party, you need to figure out how to be an expert in it.
Right.
Anything that your team or that you touch, you might as well just try and own. When they're delegating responsibilities to a group of people, if you affect that in any way and are going to, in some way, shape, or form, be held responsible for the outcome, you might as well just own it and figure out how to be the best at it and own it yourself, because then you're the only one that's going to be the determining factor in whether or not you fail or not. If you let somebody else own that piece of the project and then they suck at it, and by default, you guys don't perform, you're taking responsibility also. And it could negatively affect you or the project or the company, your team, whatever. And then you're letting life happen to you at that point, versus saying, okay, my team has to do this project. I'm going to own it and make sure I know it and do it well, so that I eliminate the risk of negativity happening, So it's like an accountability thing. And I'm good at that part. I think once I know that I have to do something, I'm pretty good at stepping up and figuring out how to do well. I think I suffer from a lot of the same things that you suffer from, and a lot of people that we know or that would listen to us suffer from, which is getting from the uncomfortable feelings in the moment, and feeling far away from those goals, just getting it going, getting started, how to own it and actually feel good and motivated, whether it's talking nicely to myself or negatively to myself. Again, it doesn't change the outcome. The outcome is I want X, Y, Z in life. So at the end of the day, in some way, shape, or form, what am I actually willing to do to achieve that? And if that's the whole thing, going back to being honest about it, right? Like, there's certain things that I know I could be better at that I know I'm not going to do, that I don't feel like doing or don't want to do right now. And life might bring me to moments in time in which I'm forced to, right? Like those areas that I haven't taken initiative on when I was younger and in the past. And even now, I guess sometimes, like, life will bring me to another scenario in which, like, here it is again. You have, like, if you want life to be different, you have to do it different.
Get through this,
you know, you have to show up different.
Crossroad, and
yeah.
I was thinking about this too the other day, and there came a point, it seems, where when I was starting to make decisions again in life and, like, not just leading impulsively, that I started thinking more things through. And I think that that's great, to have, like, to gather information and become smarter at things. But there's a part of me that lost, like, a little bit of impulsiveness for heartfelt decisions.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I struggle with is adding those colors in and how I feel. When I say making a decision based off feelings isn't a good thing, but making a decision off of, like, what does your heart want?
Mm-hmm.
I have constantly tried to let my heart guide where I want to be. And I'm thankful for the fact that I was able to step aside just working for somebody who had given me the opportunity to learn and grow, and then work for myself. Now there's days where I can make enough to pay my bills for an entire month in, like, 3 days, and pay the people who are helping me do the work. Like, I'm very thankful for that. I had to earn the skills, but I'm also very thankful for all of that being put in front of me.
You put in the time, you put in the work, right, to get there.
But I'm also thankful for it being placed in front of me, because I do think that there is a higher power that, whatever that is, put it in front of me.
If you show up,
to give me the chance to show that I was capable of doing it.
Absolutely. If you want something or desire something and put in genuine effort, life will present opportunities to get you there, even if it's not giving it to you. You know,
the point for me that I've been trying to make to myself is, like, I've lived a lot of my life based on the fact that I just have to figure it the fuck out, and I have to figure out how to pay my bills, and I have to, it's like the thing when you're, leaving and you're like leaving from high school to college or whatever, that people will put their like that position, like go pick a career. I had no idea what I wanted to do for my entire life until I thought about helping people. And then as soon as that hit, like that's a heartfelt decision that I chose. And it took a long time for me to remember, like, we're here to help people. That's fucking it. And like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I strive people if I can help people in any way. Like one of the things I would say is like, make the heartfelt decision, like find actually like, and it's not going to come. It's not like the solution for the heartfelt decision isn't going to come overnight. Like it's not, I'm not telling people, hey, you should just quit your fucking job right now if you're unhappy.
No,
but that heartfelt decision means that that what you're doing right now isn't good enough. That what you're doing right now isn't making you happy enough. And that there's something out there. At least start the plan. Just make the simple step forward of grabbing a piece of paper and a pen and write down whatever makes you happy and see if there's any avenue in there that can pursue your dreams. You can still work the 9-to-5 job if you need to, but
then you can do extra. There's the opportunity to do extra.
You can't live your entire life, and you can, but I promise you that at your deathbed, you're either going to be so naive and egotistical that you won't even admit on your deathbed that you hated how you lived your life, or you're going to regret how you didn't stand up for yourself in order to push yourself forward. In order to push the people around you forward. And like, you could be the savior for everybody else that you're worried about and everybody else that you're trying to take care of. You could be their savior if you just did something to work on yourself and did something to make yourself happy. But with that comes uncomfortability. Like with it comes getting rid of complacency. With it comes discipline. And I'm not there. And I only get these moments of clarity in the times where I'm like, holy fucking shit. For me, time is a big thing. I can make more money. I can't get more time. So when I spend 7 days sicker than a fucking dog, I come back like I'm ready to go. And I'm, I want people to, if there was anything I wish that I could take a pill for, it's that. It's the constant realization of get your shit together.
It's tough, man. It's tough to analyze it all, right? And even gauge where you're at sometimes with things. Like
even that comes at a negative aspect sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, my issue is that I overthink and overfeel. Same. Maybe not overfeel, but I will overthink things, right? And because I've had to persevere through situations where I had to shut my feelings down, my decision making couldn't come from my feelings because I had to put other people or other things first, and essentially had no choice, right? I guess there's always a choice, right? I don't have to continue trying, just give up on different areas, but I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good man. So there are times in life in which like I was forced to continue on, even though it didn't feel good. And I've gotten into such a habit of that there are areas that I feel completely out of touch with. But I know if I'm continuing to show up with a decent attitude and effort, I hope and pray that eventually those situations and things will turn into what they need to turn into, or opportunity will come the way that it needs to. But I'll think myself right out of a situation that's actually good for me, or out of the things that I know I should do. There's times that I want to work out and I will sit there and think about what I want to do for my workout during the time that I could have just done the workout. And now I don't have enough time now. I'll do it later. And then later something else happens. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And so, I can think myself right out of the thing that needs to happen.
Just a quick note too. And because this is something that's really helped me when it comes to the whole, like thinking myself out of working out, is the night before placing out exactly what you need to get out the door. And for me, like I don't know if it's a woman versus man thing or whatever, but for me, like I've talked to Cass about this, what really works for me is I get up out of bed and I'm fucking out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I add any bit of relaxation, my body immediately goes, oh, it's going to be a chill day.
Yeah.
If I get out the door and I get this, like if I'm set and I can set out my clothes, I can put toothpaste on my toothbrush, and I am in and out that door and off to the, it's been a long time, but if I'm off to the gym where I'm immediately out with my running shoes on in the cold, going for a weighted vest run, like if you can set yourself up for that, and then you get to ignore any bit of, like, you can make whatever excuses on your way to the gym.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you happen to like make the excuse and you end up following through with the excuse, you're still one step forward. You still were able to get out the door and at least head there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I know myself well enough to know if I get up in the morning when typically I'll get up, make some coffee, and then I start my morning, right? Well, if I pull my phone out and do anything on my phone, it's over.
It's so bad.
I might do certain aspects of what I'd like to do in the morning, but it totally takes me out of that focus of, that internal dialogue that I may need to have for the day, or motivation that I'd like to start the day out with, just getting distracted. I like to meditate. I like to read. I like to work out. And I used to have a routine that incorporated those things every morning, to where by the time I got in my vehicle to go to work, I had already done 3 things that I know make me feel better and that I know propel me forward: working out, reading, knowledge, and meditating, taking care of the inside.
Yeah.
And I've allowed myself to create enough of an excuse or enough of a distraction with my phone to just totally affect that. And then you get into thinking about it. Like I said, I'll think myself right out of it. So then I'm beating myself up for it. And it's like, in the end, it's like you said, just need to get up and do it.
Yeah.
It's the only thing keeping me from it.
I'm going to make a new hat that just says, just fucking do it. It's going to be the Nike symbol.
But do it, damn it.
But, and it's just the funny thing too, is we've talked about it, you listen to David Goggins and all of these guys, where it's just like, just fucking get up and just do the thing.
Yeah.
You don't learn that that's the thing until you actually get up and do it, until you stop the excuses. But guess what? Your brain never stops them. And their brain, like the high elite guys, their brain doesn't stop with the excuses either.
Right.
They've just trained to fucking ignore it.
Yep.
That's all it comes down to.
Creating the discipline.
And all of that takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of time. And when you're listening to more elite people and they've been doing it since they were 17 years old, it's going to sound like an easy thing.
Yeah.
Because they know how to express it.
Absolutely. But just like I do, even a month of sticking to a routine that you know is good for you, you feel like a different person. And then when I've definitely done that and done it well, where I've created an awesome routine. I'm looking great, feeling great, all that. And so now I'm like, that's easy.
Yeah.
Like I can sit here knowing that I'm not doing it right now, but sit and look at it and say, oh, that's easy. Yeah. Like all it takes is me just doing it and I'll be right back there. And I know that. So, it's that disconnect from, it could be from a fear, self-sabotage. It could be, many different things, but I think being honest with yourself, like I, said in the beginning, I think really getting honest with yourself about where you're at, what you want, why you're where you're at, and not doing more to achieve what it is you want. Like, just be honest about it. And some aspects, maybe you don't want to change, and that's okay. You don't have to. Don't expect growth in that area.
Right.
Anything else that you want the growth in, expect to have to show up for more, because what you're currently giving is what you're getting. And you will not get more unless you put in more. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Sometimes life will happen and you'll get a blessing. But sometimes when you get that blessing without putting in the work, that could be a negative thing happening to keep you distracted. Sometimes people get everything they want and they think like, oh, I got a blessed life. blessed life, everything is great. And it's like, no, sometimes the devil will give you everything you want to keep you distracted.
100%.
You know? So I think it's important to,
it,
just do the right thing.
Yeah.
The next right thing in every moment. And,
you're not going to get it right every time either.
No.
And, I was talking to Matt about this, and me and him are probably going to talk about it more, but like, in terms of being honest with yourself, if I could be honest with myself, and I have been recently, is the fact that even before I was sick, like my mental state was fucking rough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to scream at every second.
Yeah.
I was just like a ball of shit energy that I couldn't figure out where to put. And I used to deal with a lot of I'm just going to get up and go. I'm going to get up and leave all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that doesn't benefit me by any means. And I have to sit in the suck sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I just wanted to curl up into a ball and fucking scream. And I didn't want to answer my phone. I didn't want to talk to people. I was not doing well at all. And it doesn't necessarily get you anywhere.
It doesn't go away.
However, like Matt had said something to me on the phone about like feeling like his soul in this. I told him, I was like, I feel like that's exactly it. Now, he'll be able to tell me, but just like feeling like just like there's a problem with his soul. Like there's this crushing aspect that something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I took that, I was like, holy fuck. I was like, that's like the way that I actually said it. I was like, that's exactly how I feel. The reason that I feel as if I was feeling that way is because I'm literally walking so far away from my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking so far away from like in my head, when I have to go back to doing construction, I'm walking away from everything.
Mm-hmm.
When in turn, I'm not thinking of it as a tool to get us where we need to be.
Well, then there's many ways to look at that, but you might offer blessings of helping people in that field.
Exactly.
And might not think about it.
We had originally talked, it's like, hey, you know what we could do to help people eventually? Like at once we're an established enough business, is we could go and build homes for people who need
build
it
homes, but there's also, I have to run my meetings. I run the site, and we have to do safety meetings, and some of those toolbox talks are on work-related stress, mental health, suicide prevention. There's all sorts of aspects to that people, there is an industry now, maybe not a full industry, but there are definitely aspects and elements to construction now that weren't there in the past. And there is definitely more of an effort to take care of people mentally and take care of their people mentally, because it's so hard to come across good people that are willing to do the work, that there is more of a focus generally in the industry towards taking care of your people. And you never know, it might come into play where we can offer services to people to help keep them on track. You never know how it could
eventually
work.
be there. I mean, I have friends who are in the union who have dealt with addiction, and their union backed them up.
Right.
They're like, we'll send you. We'll take care of you. You still have a job when you come
nobody
back.
can get rid of you if you're suffering from an addiction of some sort, as long as you're willing to seek treatment.
Yeah.
So something else though, to that point in what Matt said, I have at times and recently also been able to relate to the whole feeling like there's something inherently wrong, or feeling at your core or in your soul that something's wrong, which was my motivation to get into scripture again and start listening to the Bible and reading the Bible. And there was a sermon that I listened to at one point that basically said, you can have more than one purpose in life. There's definitely more than one thing that you can do and be good at that will help people, and that you will fulfill your purpose. But that one guaranteed way to figure that out is to begin helping people in your gratitude and humility, and trying to help others. Your divine purpose that your Creator has given to you will manifest. It will show itself. And if you can be humble enough to try and help others and do so in gratitude and humility, as you are more successful in that, you will see that you are in alignment with your higher power, and for me, I felt a disconnect in that area because I was not seeking out, God in the way that I know that I could be. And I think that as I have pursued that more, it has made what is important to me more clear. And I think that goes for everyone. I think there's a big detachment from our true divine nature based on society and the way that it goes, and when you are pursuing that relationship, I think that it makes some of those aspects of life that much easier and easier to understand. I think when you're pursuing your purpose through God, it makes it less difficult to fail because it's not about you. It's a selfless action, generally speaking. You're trying to make the world a better place. And how could that feel wrong or be wrong?
Yeah.
And sometimes we get disconnected when we're pursuing it just for the money or just for the lifestyle. But when you're doing it with true gratitude and humility for others, I think you put that energy into the world, you vibrate that frequency, and I think it comes back to you. And life has a way of opening up opportunities and experiences for you to feel good in that purpose.
I to your point, I think we've fallen into that a few times in here, and we try to always come back to it, like, why are we actually doing this? Like, we try to ask ourselves that, because of course there's a point in time where we'd love for us to do this full time and for it to pay for us to have a decent lifestyle together, to be able to go out and do the things that we want to do and travel to the places that we want to travel, and raise your boys where you want to raise them and do all of this stuff, of course. And when you're putting forth that thought of I need that, instead of I need to be able to help people in order to find my path, to be able for that to come naturally. Like, I know that it's always going to be a thing that we have to keep reminding ourselves. And I think with enough of our team and the, remembering why we're doing this, like, as you said, sometimes we come on here and it's a therapy session.
Yeah.
But in turn, I think eventually we get to the point where it's like, this is the work that I need to do. And we're not perfect with this by any means. And like, of course, we ask people to fucking go on the website and buy shit and do all of this stuff. It's only for us to be here, selfishly trying to figure the things out. But I think at our core, in this heartfelt decision of trying to figure out how we can help other people.
Yeah. And I mean, it's tough, right? Like I see all of these things that are wrong in the world and with people, but I want to help people.
Yeah.
Right. I want to help people, but I also can't drive to work without literally wanting to rip somebody out of the car and bashing their head in.
Yeah.
So like,
I think people suck, but I love people.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's really applying that to every situation. For every time I've been pissed off at somebody in traffic, I've also been the guy rushing to get somewhere and trying to get around people, and people don't want to move. Or my mom or my kid, somebody's driving, and that's somebody else's family member.
Yep.
I think when we're so worried about ourselves that we're not thinking about how anybody else's life could be going or their circumstances or anything like that, I think that's when we get ourselves into trouble. And we all want common courtesy. We all want common respect, to be treated a certain kind of way, yet withhold that from other people based on our judgment, of the situation or the circumstance. And, like, some people do suck and you can stay away from those people. But generally speaking, if you get to know somebody to some level, you will find something that you can relate on. And
I can meet somebody who's completely opposite from me and find.
And most people can. I think society right now is driving a lot of polarizing viewpoints where people feel like they're so opposite, when in reality, a lot of us are like common, and we have a lot of common ground. I think that's why you don't see a lot of the issues in society, like in Detroit, that you see in other areas of the country. It's because here, because of like the auto industry, everybody showed up to work to do the same type of job, no matter what color you were, right? So like everybody could relate to everybody. for the most part. You still had race issues here too, right? But a lot of us realize like we're all just trying to get up and go do our grind and be successful for our family. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you're from or what color you are, you know. But you see that waver and vary at different times, and you know, I think you have to try and fully encompass what it is you're trying to do to feel that, and that's all with humility, right? It's all with having gratitude and humility for the world around you.
I think if anybody could have a challenge this fucking week too, it's like take your phone and add in whoever you need to on the do not disturb. Like everybody has the settings, and go into your do not disturb, and you can add who can call through that and who can text through that.
Right.
Otherwise, put it on it. Yeah. Set your fucking phone down.
Yeah, get off of the phone.
And I mean all social media, any marketplace. Don't give yourself an excuse to even pick the thing up.
Right.
First of all, you're going to go through the first stage, which is consistently trying to pick it up, wondering why you're picking it up, and then setting it back down. Then after that, you're going to feel anxious because you don't know what to do with your time. Now all of a sudden your thoughts are racing.
Yeah.
There's a point where eventually it dies down and you're like, hey, I'm going to go do something for myself.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to go walk around the outside. I'm going to go pick up some things around the house. I'm going to, go outside. It's starting to get nicer out.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that improved my relationship with my kids was being intentional about putting my phone in the other room or putting it up on the counter,
it feels
somewhere
weird
else
too,
so that I could actually enjoy and engage in what I'm doing. You know, even if it's nothing, my kids would rather sit with me and talk or play a board game with me fully there than having, sitting around all of us on our phones or doing this or that.
It's just not worth it. It's not worth the thought, but it's not worth anything that it does for you.
Yeah.
The only reason that you should have that thing on you, like even with us, if we're posting on social media, I can post and I can get right off. I don't need the ability to go on there. Now, how else are we gonna, hope that people see our stuff? There are people who will. The funny thing is, when I first started this, I told Matt, he's like, well, don't we want people off their phones? I was like, yeah, you know who I want to see this? The same
people that are struggling to get off of it.
The same dude who I was, where I'm laying in bed and I can't even get up enough to take a piss because I'm so fucking depressed.
Yeah.
I want to see somebody see that and be like, oh shit, I need to get off of this and I need to stand up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to fix everybody, but if it fixes one person, great. There's a big portion of me that's willing to like I'm ready. Chaos got me a Walkman, like a
sweet.
tape.
Yeah.
One
sweet.
Fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 2, like the one that's on there. I love it.
Yeah.
I just fucking turn that thing on the radio. I mean, I've got my Baofeng radios and stuff too, where I just play the radio on it instead of going on my phone. Why? Because I do want to hear one song, but guess what I end up doing after that? I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm rolling through emails that don't matter. They're all ads on the emails.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and what do? I go back through. I go to Facebook, go to Instagram, go to Marketplace, go back on my emails. And you're just that cycle over and over and over again. And so like I'm back to the point where I want my corded headphones. I want my fucking iPod with nothing else on it. I don't want to, I want to have to do the dial screen on a Nano and go to shuffle songs.
Yeah.
And that's going to dial me throughout my day. And my phone's going to sit on do not disturb and I'm going to get way more work done.
Yep.
And so my challenge for myself this upcoming month is that I'm going to see how much I can change my screen time from this point or wherever it's at, which I don't even know, to
maybe we can,
one.
Maybe the group, we can create some sort of challenge with each other to see who can have the least screen time. We can pick a time where everybody screenshots.
My brother's probably going to win, but
he
actually no.
But it would be a good motivator, right,
YouTube.
for the rest of us to try and overcome that. Maybe we can challenge each other to see who can spend the least amount of time on their phone.
Yeah. Does screen time count on my computer though? Because if I'm working, that's what screws me.
Well, I do a fair amount of work on my computer.
That's fine.
At work too.
I mean, I'm do not disturb on here and everything.
I think we can all pull up our phone and see screen time.
That's fair.
And we're all capable of doing work on the computer.
Yeah.
And phone is personal. So maybe it's just as simple as screenshot.
I think it'd be a
time.
good challenge. We should talk about it. Tomorrow's the meeting and stuff. I actually think I gotta text Brody, but I think he's gonna come on. He's been killing it, dude. I don't want to.
Good.
He's down like double digits on doing good,
working out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he called us from the gym the other night, which was great. I mean, I know he's got a bunch of work shit that he's dealing with, whatever, but I think he's going to come sit down Monday. Matt's going to sit down Tuesday. So I think we're going to get a big update on the entire team on what's going on and get this shit back rolling.
Yeah, man.
So are you good?
I'm good.
All right. Let's roll out of this then. So,
all right.
All right.
See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.